Hello everyone and welcome back. If you're using Terraform to manage your infrastructure on AWS, then you're probably familiar with the age-old combo of using S3 buckets with DynamoDB for managing your remote state file as well as locking the state file. So S3 is what we use to store the state file, and then DynamoDB to manage the locking of the state file so that the lock file does not get corrupted when multiple users are using Terraform. But guess what? Things just got a lot easier. So Terraform has introduced a new feature which is S3 native state locking. So meaning you no longer need to configure a separate DynamoDB table to manage your state locks. So in this particular session, I will explain what this update means, show you how it works, and also walk you through a hands-on demo to set it up. Once again, before I start off with the session, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So let's get started with this. First, let's quickly do a recap of what state locking is. So Terraform uses a state file to keep a track of all the resources that it is managing. So whenever we create resources using Terraform, Terraform needs to keep a track of those resources. So it makes use of this state file to basically keep the information of all the resources that it is managing. Now, when you have multiple people or multiple system using Terraform at the same time, there is a risk of state corruption. And this is where state locking comes in. So that, let's say when I am doing a Terraform apply, the state file will be logged and it will not be released until my Terraform apply completes. Now, if we don't have this state locking, let's say you and me, we run the Terraform apply command at the same time, my state file might get corrupted, and to avoid that we have your state locking. Now previously when we were using S3 to store your Terraform state file remotely, we were using DynamoDB to basically lock the state file. While this was very effective, it added an extra step to your setup. You had to pay extra for that, and also the complexity to the setup. So it was a little complex. You had additional step and also extra charge for the overall setup. Now, with Terraform version 1.11 introduced a new feature. So you can enable S3 native locking by simply adding a new field to your backend configuration. All right. So you no longer have to use DynamoDB. So you can just make use of the S3 bucket, and by using this S3 native locking, you can manage locking of your state files. Now, how does this work? So Terraform uses object metadata locks and conditional requests behind the scenes. This will ensure no two users can modify the state at the same time. Now that we have got an understanding of this new feature, let's go hands-on, and we will look at how you can enable S3 state locking. But before we jump into the backend configuration code, let's talk about the prerequisites that you will need. So you will need Terraform version 1.11 or higher. You need an existing S3 bucket where you'll be storing your state file and locking the state file. And you will need to have all the necessary IAM permissions to your S3 bucket. So here I have my EC2 instance, and you can see my Terraform. So it is 1.11.4. So you need to have 1.11.0 or higher. Now, if you don't have it, you can go to the official page. So here is the official page. I can share a link to this. I'm using Amazon Linux and you have the instructions here. So this will install 1.11.4 for us. Now, let's look at the backend configuration. So here I have my Terraform, and if you look at the main.tf file, so this is the backend configuration that I have defined. So the only thing that we need is this particular line over here. So this flag is what we are using to tell Terraform that we want to use S3 bucket, S3 native locking. So the same bucket, which in this case is this bucket. So the same bucket will be used to store my state file, and the same bucket will be used for the state locking. So all you have to do is just add this line, and Terraform will take care of locking your state file. Now let's go ahead and initialize this. So I'll run Terraform init. So this will initialize my backend, which is the S3 bucket. So here you can see I have the S3 bucket. This is what we are using. So let's wait for the initialization to complete, and done. All right, so my Terraform has been initialized. Now let's talk about how this S3 native locking works. Now whenever Terraform performs an operation, let's say Terraform apply, it uses a tag based locking mechanism. So if there is another process, another user trying to run the Terraform apply command and tries to acquire the log, it fails. And it shows a friendly message like, hey, the state is logged, and you cannot use this until the log has been released. And all of these things can be done without needing DynamoDB. Now, a very important note here is this only works for one state file per key. So if you're managing multiple environments, then you will still want to split them by key. All right. Now, let's do a comparison between S3 locking and your DynamoDB locking. So when it comes to your ease of setup, S3 locking is very simple. DynamoDB, you need to set up a new table which will be used to lock your state file. In terms of cost, there's no extra cost if you're using S3 bucket. DynamoDB will have to pay extra charges. When it comes to compatibility, S3 provides you full compatibility. DynamoDB also provides you full compatibility. So the main difference you have is the setup. So there's an additional step involved in DynamoDB. You will need to create a new table. Also, you have to pay extra money for that. All right. So if you're starting fresh with Terraform and AWS, just go with S3 native locking. But if you're already using DynamoDB, there's no rush to migrate, but you can definitely have that in your plan to move away from DynamoDB and start using S3 native locking to manage your locking of your state files. Now let's go back to our server, and let's run this Terraform apply command. So what I'm going to do here is I have two tabs over here. So let's go here so that I can show you the apply command. So this is one tab. So both are basically same server. I'm referring the same files. So I'm going to run this Terraform apply command over here, and let me do an auto approve so that it does not wait for me. Terraform apply auto approve. So let me just copy this so that I can run the same thing on the other tab. Sorry about that. Okay, so let me run this, and I'm going to run the same command here as well. So this is basically what I meant by multiple users trying to use or perform a Terraform operation. So you can see we are running, and you can already see here it says error acquiring the state lock, because there is a Terraform apply happening in another session, right? So this is where your S3 is being utilized to lock your state file so that until the operation completes, others will not be able to use the state file. That way your state file will be clean and it will not get corrupted. So you can see here it clearly says error acquiring the state lock. Operational put object basically failed because of the condition, and what is your path, what is the operation, who is doing it, all those things would be available for you. You can still force this, you can use this, but it's really not recommended. So we'll wait for this to complete. Once this completes, you can go ahead and run the command, and it would work because the lock would have been released by then. So it's the same. The concept wise, everything remains the same. It's just that in place of DynamoDB, we are now using this S3 native locking mechanism to lock your state file, and to basically make sure your your state file is clean. So I'm just waiting for this to complete, and post that we should be able to run the command once again without this error. Okay, so that took some time, but you can see my instance is created. And now if I go and run the same command over here, at this time, it will not give me an error. and it should go to the next step. In this case, it will tell that my infrastructure is up to date because I'm using the same code and the same state file, but you can see I'm not seeing that same error. So this is basically what your state locking is, and the same thing happens with your Terraform destroy, and anything that is basically touching your state file and modifying the state file, your state file will be logged. So this update is definitely a game changer for teams who are working in AWS with Terraform. It simplifies the backend configuration and also reduces your AWS resources, the number of resources that you end up using, and also the cost. Let me know in the comments if you're planning to use S3 native locking or if you're sticking with DynamoDB. Um, that's all I have for this session. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.